The Table Rock fire there in Pickens County. Rain really helping out the fire containment. So I just want to give you a quick rundown and update from our NBC affiliate in Greenville, South Carolina. So the Table Rock fire size, over 13,000 acres. It is 30% contained. Let's shift over to the Persimmon Ridge fire size. I mean, that is about 2,000 acres, 74% contained. Now, I thought these words, containment, honestly, I had to look it up myself. I didn't know exactly what it meant for a fire to be contained, if it was the same as it being out. Well, that's why we have WCNC Charlotte's Meghan Bragg here verifying this for us. So Meg, you have a story running today, and you're working on this story. I see the notes there, Meg. So we don't really think about it. You hear 30% contained, 74% contained. You think, okay, it's almost out.
And honestly, I was in the same boat as you because I was filling it on the morning show the other day, and I was reading about all these fires. I'm like, 30% contained, 20% contained. I'm like, okay, they're doing a good job getting these fires out, but that is not what it means at all. And it was really interesting. Actually, Brittany Van Voorhees came up with this idea and was like, we should do what containment means versus out versus controlled, because we've been just throwing these definitions at people, right? We're just these words, I should say, without really telling them what it means. So let's go through it. Okay, so let's talk about the containment here. Okay, when we say that a fire is contained, it's when a fire is, and Carlene, if you could go back to that other slide for me. So the red right that you're seeing right there is the fire. What you're seeing around it is a stream, right? So that's a natural containment. So when a fire is encircled by either a man-made fire line or natural lines, like you're seeing a stream, roads, something like that, et cetera, where fire can't keep going, that means that it is contained. So there's an expectation that fire will not cross a line. So when we're saying 20% contained, we mean that the fire line is only 20%. It's only enclosing 20% of that fire. It doesn't mean that it's 20% out. Okay. What we're saying.
See, that's what I thought. I thought it meant 20% out.
And I did too, but it really is that line of, so it's contained, so it won't continue to spread, or that's the expectation that it won't continue to spread 20% of that fire. So if you go to the next slide, Carlene, this is kind of what, there's a constructed barrier, which can be used by, them putting a wet spot there, or, you see the helicopters making that barrier, or the natural barriers like you're seeing, the stream, roads, that sort of thing, where it can't jump. So these fires, they're not necessarily out, they are just contained to 30, 20%, 70, we were saying 75%, so that's good. So, and it's just trying to stop the fire from spreading. That's what the containment is.
That makes it even more scarier, because I think about like last week when we reported 0% containment, and I'm thinking it's not out, but it was spreading.
Right. Yeah. It definitely continues to spread, which is also a terrible thing. So after contained, there's controlled. And controlled is when it's 100% contained, so that outer, ring, the fire is expected not to jump. But there's still hot spots in there. Fire crews still need to make sure that they're looking at it. But 300 feet from that line is extinguished. So that's what the controlled means. It's like, this is controlled. And then the out it's completely out. There's for 48 hours. There's no hot spots or smoke that is visible. But they'll still continue to check it because it is wildfire.
So the language from fire officials when the fire is out, does it read as out or controlled, or what is that language?
I think it depends. When it's controlled, it's out.
Okay.
But there are hot spots and stuff, so they're still looking at it. Yeah. When it's out, it means for 48 hours there hasn't been smoke or hot spots, so it means it's completely out. Yeah.
Okay. And the story airs. When can people check it? I know we kind of gave you the big
get
exclusive of the story.
download. I know. So this is going to air in the 5 o'clock hour.
Okay.
So be sure to look at it. I have some we showed you some graphs up here, but I have some even cooler graphs to show you if you want to check that out. But definitely a very interesting topic because, like I said, I was on the morning show just reading all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, 20%, it's out, woo. But no, it's only contained. Yeah. So meaning the fire barriers, it won't spread. Yeah.
I truly mean this, Meg. I get a little bit smarter
every time you talk
with
to me.
every verify. I get a little bit smarter.
Me too, and
because if I have these questions, and look, I don't ever think as a journalist like I know everything. Like
Sure.
I tell people, Google is my best friend. I'm not going to say I know everything. So if I have these questions, I'm sure our viewers have these questions.
Absolutely. No, and like I said, and this is why I love Verify so much, is because you do learn something every day, and these little things that you've never really thought of, but just assumed, right? We were just assuming that 20% contained means it's 20% out.
Yeah.
So diving deep and really getting to explain to the audience the different verbiage and stuff, I think it's really cool, and I think it's really impactful. So.
Again, I get a little smarter. Thank you, Meg. I appreciate your time. Thank you for stopping by Impact Studios.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We'll have you back on. I know you. I know where you sit.
Okay.
All right, that's Meghan Bragg with Verify. Talk about containment. Again, I learned just a little bit more. Get a little bit smarter. That's a good thing.